We begin tonight with fireworks inside a New York City courtroom as former President Donald Trump took the stand in the civil fraud trial against him and his company. Trump clashed with prosecutors and the judge when he refused to answer questions with a simple yes or no, and instead went into long speeches. At one point, the judge even threatened to remove Trump from the witness stand due to his outbursts. Trump and his company are accused of committing fraud by intentionally adjusting property values and inflating his personal wealth to obtain better terms on bank loans and insurance. The judge has already found Trump and his company liable for fraud, and this trial will determine how much Trump will have to pay in penalties. The Attorney General's office is seeking $250 million and to bar Trump and his children from doing business in New York. His daughter Ivanka will testify Wednesday. CBS's Robert Costa was inside the courtroom and will start us off tonight. Good evening, Robert.
Good evening, Nora. A dramatic, intense day with voices raised and insults exchanged. As former President Trump assailed the judge in this case, Trump also acknowledged a role in the valuation of his properties, days after his sons put the responsibility on accountants.
Mr. Trump, how's it going in there?
Former President Trump zipped his lips in front of cameras, but on the witness stand, he was anything but quiet. Trump repeatedly lashed out at State Supreme Court Judge Arthur Engoron, the man who will decide the fate of his business empire. Asked for yes or no answers by the New York State Attorney, Trump instead gave winding monologues, prompting the judge to tell him this is not a political rally, this is a courtroom, even pleading with Trump's lawyers to control him. Trump shook his head from the witness stand, saying this is a very unfair trial. Trump and other defendants, including his children, have already been found liable for fraud in the case as part of a $250 million lawsuit brought forward by New York Attorney General Letitia James. She accused Trump of inflating his assets, including Mar-a-Lago, Trump Tower, and his Seven Springs family estate, by over $2 billion in order to gain better financial terms.
That by overvaluing his properties, that he was going to get a better deal from the banks or a better deal from the insurance companies. That is illegal. The normal person cannot inflate value of properties in order to get a benefit.
Trump and his sons have blamed their accounting firm, Mazars, for any errors.
This is a case that should have never been brought.
When asked about the charges today, Trump erupted, calling questions about the valuation of Mar-a-Lago disgraceful. She should be ashamed of herself, Trump said of James, who spoke outside the court.
The numbers don't lie, and Mr. Trump obviously can engage in all of these distractions, and that is exactly what he did.
But amid the clashes, Trump notably acknowledged that he has a hand in his property's evaluations, saying, I would look at them, I would see them, and I would maybe on occasion have some suggestions. Asked by the state attorney whether he ever thought the values were off, Trump said yes, on occasion, both high and low.
And Robert Costa is back with us after that dramatic testimony. I do have to ask you, since you're our chief election and campaign correspondent, since we are less than a year now before the 2024 election, where do things stand with President Biden and Donald Trump?
Nora, CBS News' latest polling shows former President Trump has the edge over President Biden with 51% of the vote. Meanwhile, another poll over the weekend showed troubling signs for Biden. Trump is leading Biden in 5 of 6 key battleground states. Those states were won by the president in 2020.
Robert Costa, thank you.